Hello everyone, welcome back to the final episode of the virtual March Madness tournament simulation. One final game will determine our champion. Will Baylor become champions on both virtual college ball and in real life? Or will Alabama build off their shocking upset of Gonzaga in the semifinals and successfully rewrite history? Looking back at our bracket, it's no surprise Baylor is the favorite. Real life performance aside, they've beaten Hartford in the virtual tournament, they smoked the 8th seed Wisconsin Badgers, had some trouble against 13th seed North Texas, but beat them by 9. They took down 10th seed Virginia Tech in the Elite 8, and in similar fashion in real life, they ran Houston off the floor last round. So it's all about a question if Alabama's battle tested, and we'll get to that in 1 second. Meanwhile, the jump ball is underway, and look at this, immediately out of the gate, Jared Butler. Oh, that would have been quite the exclamation point to begin the national championship game, but he comes up short. It's a bit surprising that Bama's made it this far. There was some speculation on how battle tested they truly were as John Petty gets them on the board. On the road to Indianapolis, they knocked off 15 seed Iona, albeit by only 6 points. They destroyed UConn, had some trouble against Michigan State, and then by the look of the draw, they got the tournament Cinderella in the Elite 8, UNC Greensboro, the 13 seed, and they knocked them off. Meanwhile, there is Javon Quinterly for a 3. They quieted some haters as they put down Gonzaga in the national semifinal by a pretty good margin, and let's see if that Gonzaga game got them to where they need to be to hang with the Baylor Bears, but there's a sloppy turnover there by John Petty. Baylor's still not on the board yet. It's been, let's see, almost about 3 minutes. They're still forcing turnovers though. We'll get to more of that in a second. Davion Mitchell will bring it up the other side. Easy little pop screen for Jared Butler. He's missed his first 2 threes, but the third one is on the money. Alabama's full of athletes in the interior and the exterior, so maybe this is the team we can see hang with Baylor. We've been itching for somebody to make a competitive game out of this. Here comes Davion Mitchell, baby jumper. You guys know he's so good off screens, and as you can see at the bottom of your screen, Baylor has only limited the Crimson Tide to 3 shot attempts so far. Actually make that 4 with this 3-point play by Quinterly. And what that tells me is that Baylor is forcing a lot of turnovers so far. They've only relinquished 4 shot attempts, but they haven't made good on their opportunities there in the open floor. So you're already seeing one focal point from head coach Nate Oates of the Tide that he's really trying to take advantage of and switch up from Baylor's success they've had. Now we see here Shackelford, this time he's forced into a tough shot, but he'll kick it around. And here comes Jordan Bruner with the extra pass to John Petty. Love the teamwork so far by the Tide. 13-7, off to a picture-perfect start. You can't ask for much more. Meanwhile, another sloppy possession. Butler had a shot tipped by Herbert Jones, and he also collects the rebound as Mark Vital. That's not really his game there with that baby jumper. And now we look to the corner. Here comes Shackelford to the high post, and he'll receive a dribble handoff, and he will score on top of Mark Vital. Too slow. He is not the guy you want on Shackelford, and Jaden's coming off a 30-plus point performance against Gonzaga. And if he's got a good performance in store for us tonight, he may be in line for perhaps the Final Four most outstanding player. Meanwhile, you saw there Maceo Teague miss an easy jump shot. He's starting out the game 1 for 4. Neither him or Butler have looked very sound so far on offense. Meanwhile, we see Alabama Shackelford open, a little out of his range though, so he'll continue to kick it around. Petty now, he's not open, but he continues to look for Shackelford. An elevator door screen, that will free him up. Look at the range exhibited there. The teamwork, wow. Alabama Crimson Tide up by 11. Nobody saw this coming, did they? But here's one thing that Baylor should go to more. Davion Mitchell hasn't shot the rock well either here in this first quarter, so Baylor's 3 best offensive players haven't been on their top of their game here on offense, but he has thrown 3 assists here in the first quarter, so maybe Davion Mitchell should look to facilitate a little bit more off those pick and roll opportunities. Now they're on a pick for Maceo Teague, and what a bounce he got there. The friendly shooter's touch there on the layup. Bruner's tagged for the foul, and a 3-point play could be just what the doctor ordered for Maceo Teague and company. He would knock down the free throw, cutting the lead down to 8, make that 10 as we begin the second quarter of play. Now Javon Quinterly, Shackelford rotates this around to Jordan Bruner. 4 starters on the floor for Alabama as Quinterly receives the screen. He'll go left like he's done time and time again here in the Final Four. He did that plenty against Gonzaga. and Javon Quinterly's picked up right where he left off. A perfect 3 for 3, 8 points for the Villanova transfer. 24-12, Alabama continues to take it to the Bears, and now Mitchell has his shot rejected. Wow, we've seen Davion Mitchell both in the virtual tournament and in real life. So good when he gets a head full of steam, but today it's been a bit of a script flipper. Meanwhile, Shackelford pours it on. Another three-pointer for the Crimson Tide. A 15-point deficit, check that, 17, stares Baylor right in the face, and a scoring drought. They haven't seen a basket in 3 minutes, but thankfully, Matthew Mayer, a player that could start at really pretty much any other college team, he will dunk one down. Another beautiful assist by Davion Mitchell. 29-14, we see Quinterly now. Look at this, going to the left once again. Acrobatic finish on top of Adam Flagler. Another very important bench piece from Baylor, getting some minutes here. Maybe trying to switch up their looks, but it hasn't resulted in much success. The Baylor Bears are on their toes already, and the free throw is also good. 32-14, wow. Unbelievable, this performance. How about Mitchell? He'll kick it to the corner. Matthew Mayer in the deep wing, and he'll knock that one through. Rips it clean. Only Baylor's second three-pointer made. They've come few and far between. I mean, ever since MaCio Teague had that one there early on, they've been reeling. Meanwhile, we see Matthew Mayer, another nice dump down pass by Mitchell. Assist number 5, and points 6 and 7 for Mayer. So he's providing a nice little spark here as Baylor continues to try to solidify some momentum. You see Mayer here also thinks about the post up, doesn't decide to take it. Mitchell instead, a little ball fake, receive a screen from Atachua, and he'll drive. A tough finish, but Mitchell so physical, so gifted around the rim. Both of his field goals have come in the second quarter, so maybe he's starting to get it going a little bit. He was completely blank there for a while, but now down by 13, Baylor gives themselves a second chance. They're never out of it. You guys know this team and how many playmakers they have, but Shackelford has another thing to say about that. How about the range exhibited there? 37-21, MaCio Teague with a good look, but they are just not cashing in tonight, and that's the beauty of this tournament. It just takes one bad night, and your season is over. Crazy to think about sometimes. Davion Mitchell now with the screen. This time he goes right, and that's a conventional kiss off the glass there for points 5 and 6 for the All Big 12 selection, and All-American, I might add. 37-23, we're under a minute and some change. MaCio Teague with the screen. He's pretty good with the ball in his hands as well as he exhibits there. He can play a little bit. MaCio Teague struggled for a while. He started out this game 1 for 6, but he's made his last 2 shots. Now 7 points on the game for Teague. 37-25, maybe Baylor's not out of it. It's never a question of if they're going to get their offense going, but when. You guys know this team very well. Shackelford now down in the low post on top of Flagler as he gets that one to go. Seems like a layup that could have easily been deflected or something, but Flagler maybe a little lackadaisical there. Shackelford up to 19 points, only missing 5 shots. 41-27. Baylor's got one more chance here to add another basket. How about MaCio Teague? Gets a little fancy. And how about the fadeaway? Off his back foot, that'll go. Baylor now down by only 12. 3 seconds left to go. Shackelford with a full court heave off the mark. And that'll be your score heading into the break. I'm not sure that's what anybody expected. Maybe Alabama has become the dominant force of virtual college ball, much like how we've seen Baylor become the team to beat in real life. The Crimson Tide have continued their game plan from the impressive victory over Gonzaga, working the ball inside here and there to open up looks from the perimeter, and it's resulted in 59% team shooting and 5 for 11 from deep. What I really didn't expect was the onslaught that it's been the rebounding battle. 18-11 is the differential in Bama's favor. Mark Vital and Flo Thamba are 2 of the top rebounders in the nation, especially Vital on the offensive boards, but they both are blanked on the rebounds so far. They both have 0 boards. Meanwhile, the starting big fella for Bama, Jordan Bruner, has 7 boards and a whopping 8, count them 8, assists. And that's all in Bama's game plan tonight. Inside, then out, over and over again. Shackelford has 21, on pace to be the Final Four's most outstanding player if Alabama can hold off the Bears. Javon Quinterly has 13, so already at his season average. Looking at the Bears, MaCio Teague leads with 9, but under 50% shooting. In fact, most of the Bears have been struggling to stay over 40%, including Davion Mitchell, who has 8, and he actually leads the Bears with 4 boards, and that puts it in perspective. Jared Butler with a night to forget so far. He was great in real life and in the tournament so far virtually, but only 1 for 7 shooting. Matthew Mayer was also a nice spark for Baylor. He had 7 points. And Mayer also contributed a 3-ball as well, and that's one of only 2 that Baylor's made as a team so far tonight. Jared Butler has the other one, and that's his only shot in 7 attempts he's made. All 7 other threes attempted as a team have been bricks, and how about you make that 8 right there? Butler was wide open, no excuse, that one shouldn't go. Still 41-29. Baylor, this has been their best opportunity in a while to get back into the game as Quinterly pulls short. No good, but how about Herb Jones on the glass? Kick out to Shackelford, book it! He rips it clean. 44-29. This game flow tonight has been pretty similar to Bama versus Zaga in the semis. Bama started hot. The Zags looked better near the end of the first half, but the Tide closed them out. Been pretty similar to that, tonight. So hopefully Baylor doesn't do what Gonzaga did, and hopefully the Bears can build off their improvements they made at the end of the first half and make this comeback attempt worthwhile. You saw there on the last possession, Maceo Teague missing that pull-up 3 in transition. Meanwhile, Quinterly gets creative. How about a jelly little layup there? That was beautiful. 15 points for the Nova transfer. And that 3 by Teague off the mark there, yeah, that another missed shot in transition for the Baylor Bears, as they've been entirely blanked in transition. No fast break points for the Bears so far tonight. Another thing that sticks out, nice fadeaway shot there by Butler though. 2 for 10, however, for him tonight. And I know we've talked a lot about Shackelford and how well he scored the ball in this virtual tournament, but this pass right here is by far one of my favorites. Behind the back, oh, taking off like a rocket is Jordan Bruner, and one for the big fella. Pick up the lingerie, as my man Bill Rafferty would say. Gotta get those puppies organized on defense. That was sweet. How about a second look? Nah, make that a third look. Behind the back, some and one hoop mixtape type stuff right there. Gotta love it. Alabama putting on a show, styling and profiling, and that would continue right here. Off a screen, the southpaw Shackelford, he rips it clean once again. 54-33 right now. The Baylor Bears are getting run off the floor. 5 more threes, Alabama, compared to Baylor. Not often you see Baylor getting outmatched shooting the ball. Now we see Jared Butler. Can he get it going? Okay, finally a shot by Butler. At this point, you just want to see Baylor make this a competitive game right now. It's an 18-point deficit, but there's still a lot of time to play here as Maceo Teague knocks over the Bama defender, but cannot make him pay. Wide open there from about 5 feet, and look at this right here. A little bit of a rush shot there. If you're an Alabama fan, you just hope they don't get complacent here with this big lead. We all know how Baylor can just flip the script and flip a switch very seamlessly on offense, as Butler will stroke it here and back-to-back threes. Okay, so this is the first time in a little while we're seeing some momentum for Baylor, hopefully trying to take this into the final period of play, something to build off of. A 15-point deficit, Jordan Bruner operates on the outside. He's pretty good with the ball in his hands, dribbling for a big fella. Work this one around to Jaden Shackelford. A little ball fake leading into a shot, and he knocks it down. Look at him. He is energized. You can just see the difference in demeanor between these two clubs. How about this Shackelford, a little bit fancy here at the end of the shot clock, but look at Herbert Jones. Look at him on the floor, getting down and dirty with some of the best rebounders in the entire nation. Both Jones and Bruner have the opportunity to secure at least 10 rebounds apiece, but doing just the 2 of them. Incredible. And now look, LJ Cryer is forced into a charge by Jones. Incredible. Just simply incredible. Intangibles, their shooting, everything working for Alabama. All the nuances of the game perfectly epitomized with this performance tonight. 61-39 off of another missed 3 by the Bears. Petty, however, shows Maceo Teague how it's done. Shows him up. Off the dribble, fading to his right, but he squares his shoulders nicely, and that one looked good out of the hand. Now let's jump to the fourth quarter where Baylor is reeling right now. A 25-point deficit. This is getting ugly now. Adam Flagler now gets on the board. There we go. A perfect way to begin the last period of play. This is Baylor's last chance to at least make this game competitive, let alone actually have a chance of winning this national championship. We look to the other way, and look at this. Now Adam Flagler forces the Bama ball handler into a turnover. A little sloppy there, down low on the baseline. And by far, this is a very good start. A nice stepping stone for Baylor to take into the final period. Here we go. Now we go with Davion Mitchell. Left a little bit too much space. He gets it to fall. 45-64. Obviously a lot of work still to do if you're a Baylor Bear fan, but you have to like the step that they're taking in the right direction. Now they'll float it inside. Baylor is actually in the passing lanes there. That's Davion Mitchell. Another turnover forced off the mark there for Matthew Mayer, but Mark Vital, finally we see him on the glass. So how about this? Count them 8 unanswered points for the Baylor Bears, including a couple turnovers forced here and there. So you gotta like it. I mean, Baylor, that's one part that you could say they've done a good job tonight. They have forced a lot of turnovers, they just haven't capitalized on them. Meanwhile, you saw there Davion Mitchell then drew a foul on the next possession, could knock down either free throw, and Josh Primo, who averages 8 points off the bench for Alabama. You could call him their sixth man. He'll knock down a huge 3 there. Baylor's nice start to the fourth quarter has quickly evaporated. This lead has swelled back up to 20. At least it wasn't, 25 like it was to begin the quarter. Now we see Adam Flagler for his first three-pointer there. Now a 17-point deficit for the Bears. A little under 4 minutes to go. Quinterly off his back foot, off the mark there, and Matthew Mayer soaring up. Maybe he should have got more minutes tonight. He was actually really good off the bench and was a nice spark inside and out as he dunks it down here for points 8 and 9. I wish this surge from the Bears didn't come so late in the ball game. They're on a 15-5 run to begin the final period. I wish it came a little bit sooner. They could have made this a little bit more competitive, but I mean, hey, wait 1 second. How about this? Josh Primo, he is forced into a charge thanks to Jared Butler, so now still forcing turnovers even here down the stretch. Baylor not giving in just yet, but Shackelford, wow, throws up a prayer there near the end of the shot clock and still gets it to drop. Sometimes when you're on, you're on. And Alabama, despite some inconsistency here in the fourth quarter, it didn't matter on the final scoreboard much. The final buzzer rings out and Alabama, by 16 points, is your virtual March Madness champion of the 2021 college basketball season, and your most valuable player, your most outstanding player here of the virtual Final Four is Jaden Shackelford. Last episode he had 28 points, an assist, and a steal against the top-seeded Gonzaga Bulldogs, and if you thought he couldn't outdo himself, he had 36 tonight. Unreal performance. Take a snapshot. There is your national champions, and you already know we're going to be back next season for another virtual March Madness simulation a year from now for the 2022 college basketball season. But for now, all you Alabama fans who are supporting my channel and all you college basketball fans in general, hope you enjoy the Final Four. I wish it was a little bit more competitive. 3 blowouts, all games were decided by at least 10 points. Nonetheless though, it was still amazing to watch Alabama become the top dogs here in the virtual college basketball world. Meanwhile, Davion Mitchell, Jared Butler, Maceo Teague and company all were on the ropes all night long. It was crazy to see with the way they took over for college basketball in real life, just the way they were pretty much shut down here in the virtual college basketball championship. Well, it took a little longer than I expected, but we finally got done the virtual March Madness tournament here at the 2021 season. Of course, I'll have the playlist in the description as always and on my channel if you ever want to rewatch it. It's now complete, and here's one last look at the virtual bracket of the 2021 season. Had a lot of great stories. UNC Greensboro making the Elite Eight, North Texas with that legendary comeback on Purdue and their Cinderella story. I mean, there was just so many legendary performances, key games that really shaped this virtual tournament, and I can't wait for a year from now to do the same exact thing in the 2022 March Madness tournament. Thanks for coming out today. We'll see you guys another time. Stay tuned for further content. I'm signing out.